What is going on, guys and girls? It is GhostRobo, and I am here with some exclusive Walking Dead news and updates from PAX. I have been here since Friday, or since Thursday actually. I've been trying my very best to be able to record the last few bits of Walking Dead from my hotel room, and nothing would work. It's those crappy TVs. They're HD TVs, but they still have that crappy thing where, you know, you have to buy the hotel movies, and it doesn't let you change the inputs. I tried every workaround I could. I even skipped the morning of PAX yesterday to go buy a universal remote and try to change the inputs, and nothing was working, so I do greatly apologize. Have not stopped the series, have not forgot about Walking Dead. I'm so anxious to play myself, and those last couple parts will be finishing up on Monday when I get back, Monday morning probably. As soon as I can get those up, that's the first thing I'm doing to get home and be like, okay, what happened, Lee? What happened? What happens when the train stops? Where are we going to go? What's Clementine going to do? Who are we going to meet? Anyone else going to die? What's going on? So I will have that up for you guys as soon as possible. Hang in there. I know it's a tough wait, but I really will. But I did want to give you some exclusive Walking Dead info. I went to a Walking Dead panel here with the creators of the game and with Gary Whitta, who is the lead consultant on the game, and he's also writing episode 4 and has a heavy hand in episode 3 and 5. He was the writer of the Book of Eli movie, and he's done a lot with podcasts and gaming and game writing and design and things like that. A couple of very interesting points from that. One, they said if you think episode 3 is bad, just wait till episode 4. Supposedly episode 4 is incredibly even more gut-wrenching than episode 3. I was like, how is that even possible? And there's a big decision in episode 4 that supposedly takes lots and lots of pieces from the past episodes and really just is a complete brain burner. Like, oh my god, you have no idea what to do. They wouldn't give any details on that, but they said watch out for this very epic decision in episode 4. The other thing I thought that was very, very interesting was that Gary Whitta has had a hand in episode 3, 4, and 5, so they said they're going to take a much darker turn. As we've already seen in episode 3, they basically said if they grimaced or thought it was too much or maybe too intense, that they definitely were like, okay, then that means we have to put it in. So from here on out, it's just going to get worse in terms of intensity and craziness, which I think is awesome. It makes the story much, much more engaging and emotional. The other piece of info that I think was just revealed in that panel that I found very, very interesting was the original pitch for the game. The original what the game was supposed to be was the focal character was a guy named Jim, and he was actually Clementine's brother. And Clementine and Jim lived alone. Jim was like 26, I believe, or 28, and Clementine was still her little girl. And it was about their adventure together, surviving and meeting people. They quickly realized that having two brothers and sisters, there would be too much like backstory, too much. It wouldn't be as affecting as just this random group of people, and you'd have to do too much like storytelling, like, remember when Jim and Clementine's mother said blah, blah, blah. Now you can just be like, well, Clementine's parents are missing, and you don't really need a history. And there's kind of just this newness found between Lee and Clementine, this new relationship building instead of something that's past there. But they said for the first while, they did have Jim and Clementine be the main people. And then they got rid of Jim, and they wanted to keep Clementine. That was one of their main focuses, was we have to keep her. She was actually the first character that they created for the game, which I thought was very interesting. And then they came up with Lee and added him in, and they're like, oh, can we fit Clementine? And they were really worried that Clementine would be a very annoying little girl. And so they did everything they could possibly do to make her as real and calm and cool as possible, as opposed to being like a whiny, bratty little girl. And actually, Clementine is voiced by a grown woman, which I thought was an interesting thing as well. So, Walking Dead initially was a brother-sister story and quickly turned into a Lee and Clementine story, which I thought was very interesting, but their focus was always on having a very solid relationship between your character and Clementine, and I think they've achieved that very good. They were riding a whole lot on that, saying that if that did not work out, they didn't know how the game was going to go, but it did work out, and it turned out beautifully. They also said that they love when the choices are split 50-50. They love it when they get those stats back and see 50% of the people chose this, 50% of the people chose that, because then they know they made a tough decision. And when it's like 75, 80, 20, they're like, oh, darn, because they really want to make the options equally cool and equally awesome and no obvious choices. So, sounds like we have a lot of terror, horror, and craziness in store for the rest of Episode 3, Episode 4, and Episode 5, the epic conclusion. They did say, as with a lot of cool shows like Lost and things like that, they've had the ending ready from the beginning. They claim that they've had the ending from the very start. They obviously changed who the characters were and things like that, but they've had the ending scene and the ending idea from the beginning, and that has not changed and won't change, so I'm very interested to see what they have in store for us at the end of Episode 5, but that was the info from PAX on The Walking Dead, directly from the creators of the game and the writers of the game. Very, very cool panel, very cool to see those guys in action, and meet some of the people who created one of the best games of the year, and probably the best adventure game of the decade. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Hang in there. New episodes of Walking Dead beginning as soon as possible. Until next time, guys and girls, have a fantastic day. We'll see you all later.